Hey everyone, welcome to the broadcast. I am Marla Martenson, your host, matchmaker, tarot reader, life coach, author, energy healer, Gemini, right? So I do all the things. And I'm coming to you with a colleague, very special woman who's also a matchmaker. And we've known each other for many, many years and collaborated. And her name is May Huey. Welcome, May.
Hi, Marla. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I know it's
Thank
been a
you.
while since we did my YouTube channel together, but I was on May's podcast recently, so I will put the link in the show notes to that as well, so you can listen to her interviewing me. But today we're going to talk about some fun stuff, dating at the holidays, and give you some great tips. But May, tell everybody kind of how you started because you specialize more in the Asian matchmaking. So tell us
Yes,
about
yes.
that.
Yeah, I started back in 2009, and obviously I'm Asian, and it just kind of came naturally to me and developed a niche where I had Asian men and Caucasian men looking for Asian women. So they naturally came to me, and I'm like, oh, great, this is absolutely wonderful because I love serving the Asian women community and I love to help them, my little Asian sisters out there. So I kind of started that, and here I am, 13 years later, and still doing the same thing and helping men all across the US meet Asian women all across the US. And it's been a really, really successful ride. So I love it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I remember you had a business partner and you guys had the two Asian matchmakers, and then you kind of had that separate from then just the regular matchmaking, the high, the guys and the women would both join and they didn't have to be Asian. And then it seems like you've gone more back into just the Asian. Yeah. Found your niche.
Yeah, it's I do get Caucasian men and Asian men who are open to dating Latina women, Caucasian women, all across the board. So yes, I do have women of all ethnicities in my database, and sometimes my male clients are open to all ethnicities, which is great. So yeah.
Yeah, and ethnicity is such a big topic in the world that it's such a hot thing and hot topic or whatever. But as matchmakers, and also weight, it's so interesting because now we see Victoria's Secret. They have plus size women on the Victoria's Secret, outside on the out. I was at the mall, and you have the pictures and this plus size. So it's like things are like changing, and people might say, well, you have to be inclusive in this and inclusive in that. But I will say, as humans are visual, and we have a type, especially with dating and love. We have this image, and some people like women who are curvy, some like really thin, some like blonde, some like brunettes. Well, I like a woman, an Asian woman. Their culture suits me a little bit more. They might be more traditional. Or I like a woman who's a CEO and she's out there. And so they get real specific in the matchmaking, and it may seem a little shallow or politically incorrect or whatever, but just talk a little bit about that because people want what they want, the humans, right?
Right. I know exactly what you're talking about with the Victoria's Secret ads. But in reality, 66% of the US are overweight. So, of course, Victoria's Secrets in all companies need to be inclusive because where else are they going to get business? If they only cater to slender, athletic, healthy looking people, they're only going to get 33% of the population to buy their stuff. So I know this isn't a popular opinion, but unfortunately, that's kind of how it is. I mean, if they want to make money, they have to have these ads that include people who are curvy and people who are overweight. Unfortunately, in my business, I can't make money off of overweight women. This isn't a popular opinion. Yes, I have guys who like overweight women, but they're going to find them on their own online. They're looking
Yes.
for slender, petite, maybe Asian, someone who's healthy looking, someone who's a vegetarian, maybe a vegan, maybe they don't eat meat every single day or 3 times a day, but they rather eat meat once a week. So something like that, where they're plant-based, or they're focused on their health.
Yeah.
So that's where matchmakers come in, right? I mean, that's where we come in and we're like, okay, let us help you find the 33% of the skinny women
Hmm.
that are available
I
to
think it's
me.
even
So yeah.
less than that. Is I think we're at 60 or 70%. Yeah, and I know a lot of women will probably say, well, no, just because I'm more curvy doesn't mean I'm not healthy. I can hear that in my mind, but the guys that come to us, it is, it frustrates us, believe me, ladies. I've got a few extra pounds I'm trying to lose right now. So it is frustrating, but when they're paying thousands and thousands of dollars, they kind of think, okay, I want somebody who looks like a model. But if they would meet a woman in real life on their own, she's maybe they see the chemistry, the way she talks, the things they have in common, and the spark happens, and they're not this, model looking person. So it's just when they come to us, it gets to be real specialized. And that's why we do charge so much, because when people are so picky, it's tough. It's challenging. And people, they probably tell you, oh, I matched up my friends. I want to be a matchmaker. It sounds so fun. It's so easy. It's not. It's not easy. It's fun, right?
No, it's definitely not easy. It sounds like a sexy job. It sounds like a great job. Everyone at a networking function wants to talk to you, right? If you say you're a
Yeah.
matchmaker, they don't put their hand out. I mean, if you're a financial planner or insurance person, yes, they're like sick of talking to them, but a matchmaker, oh, that's very interesting. I want to talk to you. So, yeah, that's the beauty of it. But it's not a job where people can just do it as a part-time gig. Like this has to be something we're passionate about. We live and breathe it. I mean, I'm training other Asia matchmakers now to become matchmakers so then we can have this circle of people that can really serve our clients at a higher level because now we have these other recruiters and matchmakers that can help each other. So,
What's
oh yeah.
nice about matchmaking, you can work from home. You used to have to go into an office, but can work if you have a laptop and a cell phone. You can really work from anywhere. You could go off to Bali or the Mexican Riviera and live there for a while and work, which I love. I'm always doing FaceTime when FaceTime and Zoom and all that came into play. Oh, that was a game changer because we had to have people come in the office, remember, May, or go meet them at a cafe and meet because we want to meet these people in person. Now we can meet, video chat with them. I'm video chatting with girls every single day.
Yeah, it's really opened up. It's more acceptable now because of the pandemic, and we just work with Zoom or before it was Skype,
Yeah.
now FaceTime. I mean, it's awesome. I just think it's such a good career, and there's always single people who need help. It just depends on who you want to serve. And I believe you and we both have certain niches, which really makes us specialize in that category, which I think it's great. I mean, my business model is same as yours. Men are the paying clients. Women join our database for free. And, I've known you since probably 2009. And because you've been in the industry longer than I have, I've always looked up to you. Like, I think maybe that's how I changed our business model to men are the paying clients. Women join the database for free
And
because
for people who wonder, because we Fredley and I really weren't planning to take any women, and we did take a few in the beginning, and then it didn't work out too well. And you want to just talk about what for women out there who are thinking about joining a matchmaker, should they pay thousands of dollars? I, you know, go ahead and talk about why you stopped taking women as a paying
well,
client.
I used to take on women as paying clients, but I realized that matchmakers know the secret, right? That as soon as a woman pays us, they were okay dating a guy who was 5'8", 5'9" on their own, meeting them at a bar or restaurant. But now all of a sudden, because we took money from her, she wants a guy who's 6'0", 6'1", 6'2". And all of a sudden it was okay that he was making six figures, but now he needs to make 150,000 or more. He should be a millionaire. It's like,
Mhm.
that's ridiculous. So that is why I stopped taking on women, because I just felt like I couldn't live up to their expectations. But a woman should join a matchmaking service if she is realistic and she's maybe just too busy, doesn't want to go online because she's pretty high up in her company. She doesn't want to see her subordinates seeing her profile online and, all that stuff. But if she's willing to date a guy, maybe just 2 inches taller than her or same height as her, if she's open to dating a guy up to 10 years, if she's open to a guy who makes 100,000 or more, if she's open to a guy maybe all across the US, if she's open to relocating or open to find a guy who's open to relocating to where she is, if she's honestly realistic about the guy and the requirements, then by all means join a matchmaking service and pay. You will get great guys. There are so many great guys out there. But if you have this really ridiculous list, then I wouldn't join a matchmaking company because they're going to have a hard time finding that person for you. It's not they're going to magically appear just because you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars. And matchmaking services aren't cheap. I mean, I start anywhere from 8,900 to 16,000 to 25,000 if they want an international search. So other companies maybe start at 10 or 15,000 for women. But they will find you a great guy if you're realistic. So
yes,
just
I found
depends.
the same thing. And another tricky thing was women, they were 40, 41, 42, still wanting to have kids. And that's, by the time you meet somebody, you get in a relationship, you try to get pregnant. The guys, if they really want kids, they're not going to take a chance on that. If a man really wants a family, he's going to want a woman in her, late 20s, early 30s, maybe up to 35. If he already has some kids and he's open either way, then that's fine. Hey, great. If it happens, it happens. Or unless maybe a woman's frozen her eggs or she, something like that, but it is a biological fact. It's harder as we get older women to, that's going to happen for sure. So that was a little tricky part. And also the women, the height thing. Yeah, that basically they want, maybe they don't look like Heidi Klum, but they want a George Clooney. I want him to make $1 million a year and 6 feet tall and gorgeous and this and that. But
Back to what you were talking about women who are maybe 41, 42, 43 and want kids. There are men out there that are open to that. That
yes.
means you have to date up to 51, 52, up to 59 even. There are guys who are close to 60 who still want kids and are open to meeting women in that age range and then explore the different options together, whether it's IVF or whether she had her eggs frozen, things like that. Yeah, I had a client who was 60, still wanted to have kids, and he was open to women up to 45. So kind of like, there you go. So yeah,
that's an option, but it is hard for a woman to, if you want to start a little family and you're starting out with a guy who's 60, he's going to be, by the time they're graduating, he's going to be 80. I understand a woman not wanting that, but some will do it. So we're just giving you ladies out there watching this, sometimes I feel, oh my God, you're going to get, it's a downer or something, but we're kind of giving you the inside behind the scenes info on how matchmaking works, what the people want, what happens, what the, pitfalls are, or what the, we're just kind of giving you some inside secrets here is what I feel, so that you can make a informed choice, whether to pay for a matchmaker, whether to pay or join the database for free, whether to go online, or what's best for you. Because what I don't like is to see a woman wasting her money or hopes, or thousands of dollars. And I will say, getting great pictures is so important. I get so many women and men sending me pictures, and the angle is terrible, or they're all selfies, or they've got sunglasses, or there's so many other people in it. You really need some good clear. The iPhones are great nowadays. Put on something flattering, nice makeup and hair, no sunglasses, nice lighting, and get it straight on, some nice shots, and that will make all the difference. Humans are visual, and they like what they like, whatever type that may be. That's just that's the big hurdle that we've had to deal with in matchmaking is that visual aspect that people, the initial picture that they see, they're going to say yes or no based on that first. That's the first impression.
Right. I mean, that's even in real life, right? When you're at a coffee shop and you're at a party, you just naturally glance to someone who's attractive. So it's just no different. And I just have a problem with some people who join a matchmaking service as a free database person, but they don't have any good photos. And then you suggest, why don't you meet with my photographer for $300? That's actually cheap now. Right now they're like $450. So meet my photographer for $300 and get some photos taken. And they're not glamour shots. They're not touched up. They're just normal shots that make you look nice in outside, outside lighting, and that you look normal, and that you can honestly say on your dating profile or to the matchmaker, hey, I just took these photos. They were 2 weeks ago or a month ago. And that says a lot. I mean, on the online dating, I feel like people can just get the advice of like their male friend, like a friend of opposite sex, get their opinion and be like, hey, Bob, what do you think? Can you help me pick out 5 profile photos that you think men would like when they're doing online dating? I mean, that's like free advice. Take advantage of it. Like, that's so easy to do. And
Absolutely.
always show a body shot.
Yeah, always a body shot.
Yeah, and always show a body shot. Yeah. So, Marla, I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but what is your ideal dream client? What kind of man are you looking for to sign up? Like, who's your easiest dream client?
Right.
Describe them to me.
Okay, so men in their 40s, 50s, or early 60s, I like working with that or older crowd. Too young is too challenging for different reasons to find the younger women ready to settle down and all that. And then when they're really older, start getting in the late 60s, 70s, it's harder because they still want these men, the visual men, if they're 70, they still want 40s and maybe to mid 50s often, because they don't, it's almost like the men, you'll never hear a man say to you, hey, do I look fat in these pants? How do I look? They think they're the bee's knees, they think they're phenomenal no matter what, like I still deserve a hot younger woman, even though I'm now, stepping into the grave, but we're like, oh, do I look okay? I got to lose 10 pounds. How do I look? Let me, so the point is my dream client, I like a guy, fit, healthy lifestyle, likes to travel, great outgoing personality, warm, good sense of humor, in that age range, who is pretty realistic about the age range they're looking for. So let's say if they're 50, let's say we're going 40 to 50, or maybe 38 to 50, to 48, something. They can do a 10-year. I don't like to go more than that. Love the guys who are more looking for that more inner connection, maybe have a more spiritual bent, who is not just looking for the superficial, because sometimes they say they're so picky, but then they realize they're dating these women that they're trying to create, and it's not satisfying, because that's not really what the human wants down deep. It's that the values, the connection, the things they have in common, somebody who's going to be there for you, not just looking good on your arm. And they kind of lead with that, but that's not going to last or lead to second and third dates. So I like the guy who's just a down to earth, good guy who's got a great, business. Usually my guys own their own businesses or whatever, entrepreneurs or doctors, attorneys, real estate developers.
I agree. I mean, I think of a gentleman who's 70 years old and they want to date someone in their 40s. And I'm like, wait, I'm in my 50s. I don't want to date a guy who's in his 70s. Like, yes. I kind of put myself in their shoes. I'm like, well, I'm in my 50s, but I can't see myself dating a guy in their 70s. And the reason why that 70-something-year-old guy wants women in their 40s is because that was when he fell in love, right? He fell in love with the women that were in 40s. So he remembers the attraction level of what he has for women in that age range. But it's like he forgot that he is now 70-something. So I mean, age is really just a number in my mind if you're not looking to have kids,
Yeah.
and would I find a 60 something year old guy attractive? Probably. I mean, yeah, if I just met him and give him a chance and he looks great and he's, funny or even not funny. How about he's just smart, but he just has great conversation? I mean, I feel like women put so much emphasis on being funny, but yeah, people become funny once they know you because I can honestly say that I was not a funny person with my husband until I got to know him. And man, 15 years later, I am hilarious, I think, when I'm around him because I now know kind of like his personality, being funny, and just our way of life and how we look at stuff and be witty. And I don't think people should put so much emphasis on being funny unless they are also funny. I hate boring women that ask for funny guys. It's
Right.
like it's no different than a woman who makes 25, 50,000 and want a guy who makes 100, 150,000. It's like if you make good money, yes, you can ask for a guy that makes good money. If you're funny, you can ask for a guy who's funny. If you're hot, you can ask for a hot guy.
So, yeah, I always say, if you're looking for somebody, write down write down what you're looking for in them, and then look, do I have those qualities? I want somebody fit, am I fit? I want somebody educated, am I educated? I want someone, with a great outgoing personality, do I have that? I want somebody who's ambitious, making a great living. How is my finances? Am I in debt? Do I need to get my finances cleaned up? Maybe start making a little more money, do something. So I feel a little bit, bad because the old model of men and women was the men made the money, the women stayed home. It's not that way anymore. And so men kind of expect, even the man making a lot of money, they'll say, I want a woman who has something going on in her life, who can support herself, who is supporting herself. And then if we're married, I have no problem paying the bills and stuff, but they want somebody who's kind of, doing something, and then they know that she's not just looking for them to support her or have expensive dinners or a meal ticket.
How
So
do you spot the gold diggers in your business? How do you know if a woman is just looking for a man for
yeah, and
money?
this is so interesting because so back 10 years ago and further, when I first started up to about, there were a lot of, we want to say, gold diggers, women who definitely just they would go on dates. Okay, because this is when I was working in LA, and they'd go out, and then the woman would, let's walk by this shop, and then they'd start trying on shoes, or say, buy me this purse, or go and try on earrings. What do you think? And want the guy to buy it. I mean, literally, this happened. But you guys, if you want to see these stories, get my book, Diary of a Beverly Hills Matchmaker and Hearts on the Line. I have all these things in there. That's what was going on. And even they'd ask on the date to pay. Oh, I can't pay my rent. A first date, second date,
Yeah.
hinting, can you pay my rent? This is something that was happening a lot. Now, yeah, these girls were gorgeous. They were hanging out at the Playboy Mansion. They were trying to model and act. They were monopolizing on their looks. And I've noticed as the years go by, and I'd have to ask them. I'd say, there's questions we can ask to kind of know. What's the type of guy are you looking for? What are you? We kind of dig into that, and I'd have to maneuver around it. Now the women that I interview, I don't get any. Rarely do I get a woman like that are looking for that. And I'm getting these beautiful women who have their own thing going on. They make a lot of money. I had a woman yesterday. She looks like a stunning model. And she's like, I'm a multimillionaire in my own right. I've been working the stock market, and I sold my house, and I did this. I'm in awe about these amazing women who are doing these wonderful things. So I really don't have to worry about that anymore. What about you? It's like almost it kind of drifted away, or maybe it's the age range now that I'm going to. I don't
Oh,
know.
right. Oh,
Maybe
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it was probably the gold diggers back
they were a little
when
younger, 20s
men were
and
young,
30s.
right?
Yeah.
But you're right. I also appreciate working with men who are older. Like it's tough to work with a guy who's 30 years old and I have to find all the women that are in their 20s for him, right? So
Yeah,
the
that's
older the gentleman is, the easier it is for us matchmakers. If a guy who's 40, 45 and up Yeah. So I guess you're right. Like I don't come across a lot of the gold diggers anymore because I'm not looking for the women in their 20s.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
the women in their 40s and 50s are fantastic. A lot of them have been divorced, some never married, and there's a big population of and boomers were the biggest. I'm at the end of the boomer. It was just ending. So but that's the biggest population right now, too.
How do you sell the man to the women if the man has never been married and he's like in his 50s or 60s?
Yeah,
How do you
I
work
don't get
that
many. I used to get a
the
lot of
women?
those too, and I don't get as many now. But
Right.
yeah, that's so interesting. I don't get as many. It's like things have shifted a little bit in ways, but I would say, well, he was working on his career. He was, had relation. A lot of these men now, keep this in mind, ladies, if, oh, well, he's never been married. He may have lived with a woman for 10 years, or he may have been in long-term relationships, but not pulled the trigger. I have a friend here, he's in his 50s, he's never been married, but he's had relationships and he's very well balanced, and he's not a player. A lot of and women too, there's many women who never been married, and I meet them, they're 50, 60, but hey, they didn't go through painful divorces. There's some red flags, and then there's some benefits. So you just want to
Right.
see, are they not, you don't want a commitment phobe. Why didn't you ever pull the trigger? Were you, do you have any commitment issues? Through conversation and getting to know somebody, you'll find out that. Um, but they may not have baggage. Some people have crazy exes because they're still dealing with the kids, and the
Yeah.
ex is stalking, or they're paying out a lot of money still, and there's a lot of drama. And a lot of women will say it's okay if he has an ex-wife or kids, as long as there's no drama there, as long as there's not problems.
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of men who've never been married, maybe a couple in the last year or so, but yeah, they have been in relationships, but I also find that women have come to me and said, well, I've been divorced. I'm actually not looking to get married again. I'm actually okay being in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
I have tons of finances. I have tons of great assets. I don't need to combine my assets with a guy. So I find that happening too, where she's in her 40s and she's like, I'm doing really well. I've never been married, but I'm also okay not getting married, but I would like to find a guy. So
You may be watching this and it's not the holidays anymore, but there's always some holiday coming up, Valentine's, or, now we've got Christmas coming up. I've got my tree up early. I think I'm going to keep this tree up all year long. I'll just change the decorations. I'll put Valentine's and St. Patty's and Easter and all of that. And because I want to uplift myself and be happy. But for the holidays, if people get a little bit down, maybe they had a divorce, maybe their spouse died, or they're just been single a long time, and you see that, these couples, and then New Year's Eve. Do you have just a couple tips for people to stay positive, or what they can do to make it a little bit more festive for themselves as a single?
yeah, I mean, I know every year we say yes to every single Christmas party, that holiday party, whatever that people invite you to, even if you're like the oddball who goes to Thanksgiving with a bunch of friends, say yes to that. But how about this year you throw a party and say, hey, you're coming, bring a single friend and make that the theme because you have control over the party. It's your party. So I just think that instead of saying yes to everybody else's party, this year you can actually throw a party and have fun with that. Even
So
if you live in an apartment and it's like tiny, maybe you live in an apartment, it's like 1,000 square feet.
yeah,
That could be your theme. It's like, let's try to squeeze as many single people in 1,000 square feet apartment and make it fun. Like,
right.
that's such a great conversation starter. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so crowded in here, but who cares? I mean, you're just there to meet people and you just never know. I
Right.
mean, got to make it fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make it fun. And so, thank you, May, for joining us. You guys, I hope that this was informative and more uplifting than not. I know we gave some harsh realities of the matchmaking industry, but we want you to be successful. So we just want you to avoid doing things that don't work, and push you more to, knowing what matchmakers are looking for, what people who come to them are looking for, what we can do realistically. I wish I could just match every single person that would come to me, and but there's all these little nuances there. May, I know people will ask, well, where are you located? It doesn't matter where we're located. May's in Colorado. I'm go back and forth from LA and Seattle, but we have clients all over the country. So it we're not just matching in our areas. So if you want some help, if you want some coaching, if you want to be in the matchmaking database, reach out. May, your info is flashing up on the screen, but anything else you want to share about, working with you, or any info?
I welcome anybody in my database. I love the Asian women who want to be a part of my database. It's free to sign up. I also have the podcast called The Asian Dating Podcast, if you want to look that up. But yeah, thank you for having me, Marla. This is always fun chatting with you.
It's always so much fun. We're going to have to do it again in the new year. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And I'm sending everybody much love.